Hello, Sam here from Order Systems, and in this video I'd like to show you how we can integrate an Akuvox intercom into Control4. This here is an Akuvox E12W, and it's part of our SIP-based intercom offering here at Order Systems. These intercoms got really cool features as standard, such as Bluetooth connectivity, QR code reading, facial recognition, RFID. It can also work on Wi-Fi as well, so you can use existing doorbell cabling infrastructure to power the intercom and place it onto the wireless network. The first thing I'm going to do is go to the web UI of the Akuvox and change the default password, the default being admin. It's prompted me to change the password, so I'm going to use Order Systems 123 ! For this demo. I'll leave that for now on the web UI, and it's going to ask me to log back in, which I'll do shortly. So let's now move over to Composer. The configuration that I'll show here is what I discovered by playing around with the intercom and the integration. The driver I'll be using is the E16 driver, which I just found online. I'll put the link to all the drivers in the description of this video, along with any documentation as well. So in Composer, I'll search for Akuvox and import the driver. And I'll go through these fields in a minute, but I'll change the web password to the password I set up on the web interface, Order Systems 123 ! Now, I'll get this unit online by going to Connections and Network. Double click on the Akuvox and input the IP address. And it now shows as online. I'll go back to System Design, and we can see it's pulled in the MAC address, the hardware version, the software version, and the model of the intercom. We have the call group field, which you can leave as all once you've added the communication agent in, unless you want to create a new call group. Relay via HTTP allows the driver to switch the relay on and off. If the intercom is in high security mode, the built-in relay in the driver won't work. We then have the relay username and password, and then login and network information. Now we can go over to the Actions tab in here. I can toggle the relay, which isn't going to work at the moment. Update contact will push the call group information to the intercom. Update SIP account pushes the SIP information to account 1 on the intercom. And system info pulls in the MAC address, IP address, software version, and model. Staying in Composer, I'll go to the intercom instance within the Akuvox driver and make two changes here. The first being the button that presents itself on the navigators when I answer a call or receive a call. So I'll enable custom button 1, and I'm going to name it Gate Open. The next change is the alternate camera. I had to choose the Akuvox camera here to get the video feed to come through on the navigators. The phone app was fine, but the navigators were giving me a green screen until I set it here. I'll now go to Agents and add the communication device. And then back to the system design, and the call group in the driver now says all. And in the call group is the intercom and my touchscreen. Because I'm using my phone to record this video, I can't use my phone, but I have tested it and it works very well on the mobile devices too. So now let's go to the Akuvox web UI. First of all, let's focus on account and basic. And we can see that account 1 has been set up with the SIP information and is registered. We can add a display label, so I'm just going to put in Control4, and the preferred SIP server is already filled in with the IP address of the Control4 controller. In the real world, it's advised to set your intercom and your Control4 system to be on a static IP address or on a DHCP reservation. And that's it in here. I'll go to intercom and basic, and we can see that the call group all has been put under the call group number cloud section, and that's been pushed from Composer. So nothing more to do in here. Next, I'll go to surveillance and RTSP, which is enabled, and all the fields are configured from what Composer pushed up to it, so we can leave this as default as well. If you want to pull the OnViv video stream to an NVR, you can do so. The OnViv and RTSP URL is in the resources of this video. Next, we can now go to access control and relay, and here we can set up the standard relay connection. If you want to trigger a gate relay to open and close on its own, you would leave this as monostable. It would be down to the gate engineer to configure the time the gate is held open for before closing itself. If you want to hold the gate open, then you can choose bistable. This toggles the relay state. So again, discuss with the gate engineer the connections and configuration of the gate motor. We can also set up DTMF codes here to trigger the relay. By default, it's 1-digit DTMF and a value of 0. Below that is the security relay, which is an additional security control to prevent someone physically shorting out the terminal connections on the unit and closing the relay. The product code for the security relay is the SR01. So to open the relay via DTMF, I'll set this to all numbers. You can add access control lists here for additional security. The final setting here is open relay via HTTP, which allows us to trigger the relay from Control4. I would advise you to change the username and password in the real world. And finally, we can go to security and basic, and we have high security mode. I'll come back to that shortly, but for now I'm going to disable it on this intercom. So let's try this out and see if the Akuvox calls our touchscreen. Excellent, that's coming through with video and audio. Now I want to trigger the relay, and there are a few ways to do this that I've found out. So let's go through those. The first one I'm going to do is DTMF. In the web interface of the intercom, under access control and relay, we have the DTMF section, which is set to 1 digit, and that digit is 0. In Composer, I'm going to go to programming, and on the events side, I'm going to go to the AK door station, and gives me the option of UI button 1 pressed. That's the gate open button that I created. Over in actions, I go to the AK intercom instance, and there's a field called send DTMF. I'm going to put the value of 0 in that, and then add that to the script action window. I'll make a call. And I'll press gate open.
Welcome, please come in.
And we get the welcome message telling us that DTMF worked to trigger the relay. That's the first method. Next, we can try the HTTP command method. To do the HTTP commands, you have to purchase the Drive Essential generic TCP command driver. Once you've purchased that and licensed the driver and have the Driver Cloud driver installed in the project, you then want to go to programming and back to the AK door station in the programming events. I'll delete the existing DTMF code I had in, and in the action side of programming, find the generic TCP command driver, and I want to select send HTTP get. I'll paste in the web address, which you can find in the documentation on the resources in the description of this video, and add it into the script action window. Excellent, so now I'll make a call. Press gate open.
Welcome, please come in.
And once again, the intercom gives me that welcome message telling me that the relay's been closed. Top stuff. Now, the final two methods are for the more higher levels of relay security. So let's start with HTTP high security mode, which encrypts the data in transit to operate the relay. The URL is slightly different, but again, it's in the resources in the video description. We put the relay username and password at the start of the URL, and there's a couple of minor differences in the URL body. Back in Composer, I'm going to delete out the existing script action and paste the new URL in the actions side and add that into the script actions. And then I'll go to the web UI of the intercom, and under security, I'm going to enable high security mode. Let's give this a test. So I'll make a call. Press gate open.
Welcome. Please come in.
And we get the welcome message again. The final method is using the security relay on the relay output to prevent someone removing the intercom, shorting the two wires across one another, and opening a gate or strike lock. This again was a DTMF command. So back in the web UI of the Akuvox, under access control and relay, I go to security relay and see the single DTMF is a value of 2. You can change this to be 1 or up to 4 digits. I'll leave this as a single digit value of 2 and enable high security mode. If I click test the command, we can hear the relay triggering on the intercom. The sound you're hearing from the relay is a triggering message to send to the security relay. So back in Composer, go to programming and select the AK door station in events, and I'll delete out the current script action. And over in the programming side, go to the AK intercom instance and DTMF and put the value of 2. Now that's in, let's make a call. Let's answer the call. Press gate open.
Welcome. Please come in.
And we get the welcome message, and you can also hear the signal the relay is sending to the security relay. So we've got the best of both here. High security and also using a security relay option. The final thing I'd like to show is sending motion events into Control4. So in the Akuvox web UI, we go to surveillance and motion. And it's here where we have a suspicious object motion detection. I'll set that to be video detection, and depending on the browser you're using, you should get a thumbnail image of the camera. And you can draw a box on the video stream. We then have action to execute and send a HTTP command. The URL will be http:// the IP address of the Control4 controller. In my case, it's 192.168.7.116. Followed by a port number that the Driver Central driver provides. In this instance, it's 49191. And then the URL command. So I'm just going to put /motion. And then in system design in Composer, I go to the generic TCP command driver and add an incoming command and just call that motion. I now head to programming, and in the event side, go to the TCP command driver and choose motion drop down. And on the programming actions side, I'm going to put a message to show up on my touchscreen that motion's been detected. The message will then disappear after 10 seconds, but will also give me an OK button to close the notification. Let's go ahead and give that a test. So I'll wave my hand in front of the camera. And we get on the screen, motion detected. You can also send more HTTP URLs to Control4 from the Akuvox by going to Settings and Action URL. There's a list of HTTP commands you can send when these events happen. And that's a basic setup of an Akuvox intercom into Control4, the E12W in this instance. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions regarding the Akuvox intercoms or the integrations, do reach out to us at sales@aldussystems.co.uk.